Chelsea began, well, in fact, this is just football, began their WSL title defence with a 2-1 win over Manchester City at Stamford Bridge in what is the league opener from last night. And Luis Suarez has been given a 6-match ban for spitting at a Seattle Sounders coach following a cup final defeat.
I just think it is the ultimate lack of respect. I'll tell you right now, Jeff, I'd rather take one in the jaw than somebody spit in my face. I would. I just think it's diabolical. I really do. But, as I say, different countries and different FAAs will have a look at it. But if he was here, I think you should throw the book at him. Just throw the book at him.
I mean, it is disgusting.
Now,
he's right. Of anything, that is vile.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, and I remember saying this during my playing career, because players take a real offence, and rightly so, about being spat at, okay? But I've always said, like, I'd rather he spat at me than break my leg in a challenge.
I think
and I always think, but Ali said there, I'd take one on the chin.
Yeah, but
I mean,
he's talking about fisticuffs, not breaking your leg. I think everyone would say the same.
Okay, all right, well, sorry.
Sorry. I got very argumentative there, didn't I?
All right then, but I know I used to think, of course, it's disgusting and it's not nice, and in terms of it, because it's such a disrespectful thing to do, isn't
Absolutely.
it? That's where we have the real issue with it.
I mean, look, people do it in any walk of life, unfortunately, but you know, we know that Suarez has had his issues in the past with the other things that he's done,
clearly
biting and
he loses
the
the plot.
Yeah, but you're 38 now. Come on, grow up a little bit.
But I've always, I've had elbows in my face. I broke my nose. I've had my teeth knocked out. And if you said to me, even say knock me teeth, I'm like, yeah, I've had it myself in a game. But I still think I'd rather have that than having my teeth knocked out or an elbow in my face.
Anyway. Okay. Let's talk about Luis Suarez's former club, and in particular one player, Mo Salah at Liverpool. I know there's something you wanted to talk about, but it would be in your bonnet because 3 games in, and you've already made out, it's only 3 games in. We really shouldn't be judging everyone and every team based on that alone. But he has had a bit of negativity thrown at him. Even though he has had a goal and an assist from those 3 games.
No, there's an undercurrent, a little rumblings of how well or how poorly Mo has started the season. There's a rumblings going on.
Can he really grumble with a goal and assist already?
Well, no, yeah, and I wanted to stick up for it. Look, many players in their career have rough times, and I know, I've had it myself, and it's a lot longer than 3 games. If you'd gone in 10 games and we're looking at Mo Salah and gone, do you know what, he's struggled in the early part of the season, I think that's a fair comment. But Liverpool being top of the table, and he's, like you said, goal and an assist, and has he played his best football? No, he hasn't. He hasn't got near what we know he's capable of. His touch against Arsenal was not there on the day. But the manager has played him every minute of every game so far because he knows how important Mo, even a not an informed Mo, makes a difference.
We've always said that, though, with him, because in a moment he can just score a goal. He can just be so incredible in a moment.
Yeah.
And he can have, and like a lot of players, he can have a bad, 90 minutes, let's say, in the main. But as I say, he can be still a match winner in that 90 minutes, even though throughout the game he's not played his best. Something I think is really important to consider is what has happened at Liverpool Football Club over this summer. And obviously I'm talking about Diogo Jota and how that has affected everyone. We saw after that Bournemouth game the emotion from Mo Salah standing on the pitch in front of the Kop crying when he was hearing the chants from all the fans there. Even now, Brentford goalkeeper Queven Kelleher, I saw him have an interview, was it a couple of weekends ago, where he talked about Diogo Jota as well and how that had affected him. And I think that's something that isn't really necessarily being considered by a lot of these people. We don't know how these players are being affected, especially at Liverpool, in the sense that they walk into that training ground, they walk into that dressing room at Anfield whenever there's a game, seeing where Jota should be, knowing he's not there. And I don't know how that must feel for all of them. And, Salah has spoken already a little bit about his own personal friendship with him. It wouldn't surprise me if all these players are experiencing grief and yet they're still expected to do a job to the highest level.
Yeah, well, we all grieve differently.
Of course.
Okay. And some people take it really hard. So we have to understand that. And you're absolutely right. Imagine that you're the player that sat next to him, shirt up on the peg, and he's not there that one day, and he's always in the back of your mind, you're thinking about him. And I think that's a fair argument for a number of players, not just at Liverpool or someone at another club that's passed away, whether it's an amateur club,
absolutely.
losing someone, what it must be like. Not because your whole goal is now for Liverpool, because there's one thing, he won't be forgotten. If Liverpool do win the league at the end of the season, I guarantee you the T-shirts will come out, and, you know, because there was so much love for him at a football club. And that happens, you know. I always think of some of the tragedies that have happened in football, from Heysel, and then they've had, obviously, Munich for Manchester United, and others. There's been other tragedies. And some of the players, years later. So this isn't a thing of now, we've got softer as a society. You listen to the stories of Munich in 58 and some of the players and how it affected them by the loss. And that was obviously a lot more players, but it stayed with them all their life.
Yeah.
And so I don't think... You know, some of them players in that dressing room, what happened with Jota, he'll be in their minds of the players. They'll always be thinking of him somewhere along the line. It won't be every minute, but there'll be moments they just think of him.
But like I say, you're going into that dressing room and knowing, well, he should be there.
Yeah.
That number 20 should be Jota in person, not just immortalised like it has been.
No, I hadn't considered that, you know, that Mo would have, and I hadn't considered that on any player, but I think it's a fair point. I just really felt there was a bit of an overreaction, and there's been a bit of an undercurrent to it as well, that Mo's not really started particularly well. But, you know, come on. Yeah. His career has been extraordinary for probably a decade now.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.